When Ed Catmull, the founder of Pixar, was first becoming the president of Pixar in 1986, he had a huge problem. Steve Jobs had just acquired the company, but he made Ed Catmull the president. And the problem was that Ed Catmull was an academic by training and had no real business experience. So, like many people, he turned to business books because he didn't know anything about profits and losses. He didn't know how to manage inventory and ensure quality. And he didn't know about a lot of the things to manage a real company purporting to sell products should know. So like a lot of us, he turned to the business advice of the day. He purchased a lot of business books and started reading them and started trying to learn about them. And here's a quote from his book, Creativity Inc. And what he said about his experience with this is that most of the books I found trafficked in a kind of simplicity that seemed harmful and that it offered false reassurance. So the big problem that he found was what he calls a cliche mentality. And the issue here is people will get a grand or a conclusion, a cliche such as dare to fail, or follow the people and the people will follow you, or focus, focus, focus. But they won't get the underlying experiences which led to those conclusions. So for instance, someone who learns that focus is important, before that, probably they tried to run newsletters, they tried to sell ice cream, they tried to sell soda, they had a company that sold books, they had a company that sold cars, whatever. They had a whole bunch of companies, and most of them just seemed to not work because they were focused all over the place until they honed in on one very specific function. And once they did that focus, 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 then they saw success. Then they made money. So the conclusion came out of their experiences in life. And this is the problem with a lot of the podcasts, the book summary companies, and even a lot of the books that are out there, is that they pander in this sort of simplicity. And I wanted to tell a story from Creativity Inc., from Ed Catmull's experience. And Ed Catmull is one of the greatest managers of our time. Not only does he manage and is president of Pixar Animations, but he's also president of the Disney Animations, and their explosion of success over the last couple of years, Frozen and Tangled, that is after he took over. Steve Jobs said he was one of his few mentors. This is one of the greatest managers of our generation. And one of the things that Ed Catmull tells a story is what I'm calling the $122,000 mistake. You can get this at booktales.org. You can get a lot of the stories from this book at booktales.org for free. So check that out. The story, very simple. I'll tell you in just a few seconds here. When he took over as president of Pixar, he had a huge problem. It was a hardware company, and they had this computer called the Pixar imaging computer. And it was a grand computer way before, ahead of its time. And so what the problem he had is how to market this product, how much to charge for this product. He had no clue. And so what he did, like a lot of people, is he turned to the business advice of his time. Now, he had access to CEOs of Sun Microsystems and Silicon Graphics. And so he was able to ask these guys, well, what should I charge for this computer with this host of application theoretically? And the advice was unanimous. Everywhere he turned, they all said the same thing: price high. Whatever price you charge, price it high. And so he, Ed Catmull went back and kind of went to the drawing board, and he found out, I'll probably charge around $122,000 for this product, for the Pixar image computer. Huge mistake. And the computer never recovered from this mistake, because what had occurred, even though the logic was sound, was that the customers only associated the product with this expensiveness. So the logic behind the advice of price high that we still get today is that it's easier to lower the price later if you need to than it is to raise the price. That would make your customers angry. It makes sense. The problem is that with this theoretical machine that was so powerful, it could be used for meteorology, it could be used for CT scans. I mean, there's so many applications theoretically. But since it was so powerful and so unclear what it could really be used for, in the mind of the customer, it only held as this expensive product. Powerful machine, too expensive. Ed Catmull lowered the price, didn't matter. People still held powerful machine, too expensive. So it completely destroyed the ability of that product to sell because of this advice. So this is really important stuff here. And what I wanted to get across from this great book that I really recommend everybody read, even if you're not a manager, is the importance of getting the right kind of advice. That's what Ed Catmull's really trying to share from his experiences, his stories, is the importance of getting the right advice. That's what he learned, is get advice that spurs asking the right questions. So at booktales.org, we write book summaries for business books, but we do it in a completely unique way. We only take out the experiences like Pixar's $122,000 mistake. Only experiences. We teach a simple lesson and we let you gain the experience and learn the lesson for yourself. A wise man learns from the experiences of others. It's only a fool who learns only from his own experiences. So go to booktales.org. You can get a couple of free sample book summaries. And if you're interested, you can sign up for $7.99 for a 30-day trial. And that way you can get access to the wealth of experiences and you can experience a lifetime in 15 minutes. Have a great day.